All right, guys, Seth here again. Let's do top 5 N64. This was a little easier for me, although some of these titles, you have to use a little nostalgia because some of them aren't really fun to play, including the first title I'm going to list, but they're not as fun to play right anymore, some of them. Some of them are still really fun, but anyway, let's get into it. Number 5, GoldenEye. At the time, this was the most fun 4-player game ever, in my opinion. But as it came out on Series X and Switch, I tried to play it again, and the controls and everything, it's just not fun to play. I hate to say it, but at the time, there was nothing that beat this game, 4-player-wise. And the campaign was so long, so many levels, each difficulty added more objectives, which I wish when they remade it, they would have made it more like that, where it was like you beat the level, but you also have little side objectives. And to beat on the hardest difficulty, you had to do them. Instead, they did the Call of Duty remake of this in the Call of Duty form, which I actually at the time worked at Activision, and I actually got to work on that game. So I still like the Call of Duty version of it because I like Call of Duty, but I would have preferred a more like spy aspect where you're using the gadgets and stuff, whereas the remake on Xbox 360 is straight up linear shooter Call of Duty, which is still fun, but this one's better in my opinion just because of the objectives, but just not that fun to play anymore, and it's really sad to say that, but anyway, that's number 5, 5th best of all. 4, San Francisco Rush 2. This game is so underrated. I feel like no one cares about this game, but it is one of the most fun racers on N64. My favorite racer on N64. The game itself is amazing. There's also a stunt mode where you get points, and the points are freaking, oh, it's so fun. You'd like hit your car into things and do rolls and try to get the most points. You'd go over ramps, get air time. You could pick your car's durability or acceleration by switching different things on each vehicle. So you could get a truck that was, faster than it should be, but would explode easily. All kinds of weird things you could do with the vehicles in this game. But if you haven't played it, you still like N64 games, this game, very underrated. I love it. Number 3, Smash Bros. Of course had to be here. My friends Nicolas Caged my house, so instead of Link, you fight Nicolas Cage in this version. That's just a sticker. But anyway, love Smash Bros. Of course, the GameCube one is really what made this series popular. But this one was a really good starter, and I still put a billion hours into this with my cousins. I love Smash Bros. Next, second favorite of all time, the game that pretty much launched the system. There was only 2 launch titles, I believe, for N64. This one and Wave Race. If it weren't for this game, there's no way the N64 would have lasted. I mean, launching with 2 titles. But when you had one of the greatest games of all time on your launch, it didn't matter that there was only 2 because this game is so long. To get all the stars, even just to beat the game, you had to do so much. But seriously, such a fun game. Mario in 3D for the first time was just mind-blowing at the time. I remember I played it in Blockbuster, just like, oh my God, it's so fun, and just wanting an N64 so bad. It took a while for me to get one, but when I did, this was the first game I played, and it's so good. Number 1 of all time. This is going to be pretty controversial, I think, because most people either haven't played this game or have played it and just don't think it's that good. Hybrid Heaven. This is my favorite N64 game. There's no game like this game. I can't talk enough about it. Basically, you're in an underground, aliens invade, and you basically are going to box and use wrestling moves to submit the aliens and defeat them all. And I'm not even joking. You literally wrestle in this game to take down aliens. You fight them, you punch them, you DDT them, you do bridge suplexes on them. You fight big-ass pig-looking monsters like, I can't remember if it's Bebop or Rocksteady, probably Bebop. You fight a creature that looks like Bebop, but you wrestle him. You do arm breakers. You do spin kicks. I mean, it's the most ridiculous game ever made. And there's no game with gameplay like this. You'd have to look up a gameplay video. Maybe if I figure out how to do that someday, I'll do some gameplay of this because I love this game. And it's the most ridiculous. The story is pretty silly in a way, but That doesn't matter. It's N64 at the time. A lot of games were silly. But this game, if you haven't played it, seriously, give it a chance. Play it at least a few hours and get into the fighting because it's incredible. You probably will need a guide because it is a little confusing where to go sometimes. But amazing game. Anyway, that's top 5 on N64. Definitely amazing. I still enjoy playing most of these other... The only one I really don't enjoy anymore is GoldenEye. The rest are still really fun to play. Anyway, that's top 5. Have a great day, guys.